So let me talk about my brother Kashaka for the remaining minutes on the platform. I have known Kashaka from since I was 12 years old. We both went to grammar school, and I came in to grammar school and met him there. I remember my first week in grammar school. Everywhere I walk around, all I hear about a youngster, Kashaka. Kashaka. I was in Form 1, you know. And everywhere you walk across grammar school, you hear Kashaka. Right? And they thought, so I want to know who is this Kashaka? They say, boy, he's the next Brian Lara. The man was about 13, 14. They say he's the next Brian Lara. So me and my interest for cricket, I obviously want to get to know this brother. And then I ventured out and met Kashaka right on the little lawn in grammar school, like where we used to play cricket every break, every lunchtime. At the time, he did look like Brian Lara for real, no lie. So I've grown up over the years, knowing Kashaka very well. We actually played on the Venal Coombs with Victors together as well in club cricket. And so we spend quite a lot of our time, not only in school, but on weekends playing cricket. And what I've seen over the years is an exceptional young man with great discipline, talent in every area, multi-talented individual. And what I could say is once this young man has committed himself to something, he stands firmly by it and gives it his full 100. I remember even recently when he decided to go in for the vice president of the SPG Cricket Association position. And he reached out to me. I believe I was one of the first persons he reached out to and asked if this is something that he should undertake. And I advised him, of course, because he's more than qualified for the role, both in cricket and his academics and experience. And so I said, yes, and you have my full support. And Shaka hit the ground running. When I tell you about hit the ground running, I have never seen anyone in my years of cricket administration campaign like how Kashaka campaigned then. And it is the very same level of discipline and commitment I am seeing from him since he has been elected as the candidate for the New Democratic Party in West St. George. And in Kashaka Cupid, similar to what I've seen over the years when we traveled across the Caribbean for cricket, and since we are adults, is a young man waiting to serve people. In cricket, he led us, and in this era of politics, as a candidate, he is ready to lead from the front for West St. George. Over the last few weeks, I could hardly get to talk to my brother, because when he ain't out in the communities, right, he did preparing some document and some meeting with his executive. So Shaka, no issue. Do the work, win the seat, and then after we go lime. But what I want to say before I leave, you have a choice. You have two candidates before you. Two of them I know very well, because Buffy also taught me in grammar school. So I know the fella. I know him very well. But you have this hard-working young man ready to challenge the status quo, ready to push the boundaries, and ready to fight the fight and deliver for you here in West St. George. And the only thing I would say about his opponent is that he's an unwilling participant. That is all. I don't need to say anything else. So you have a willing young man ready to deliver for you versus an unwilling participant. The choice ain't easy. The choice is very easy. And so, when the elections, when the date is announced later this year, in a matter of weeks really, I anticipate 2 months the most, Leroy. I am saying that the NDP, and I mean, for those of you who were in North Leeward last night, you felt the tide. You felt the atmosphere. And the momentum is certainly with the New Democratic Party. And it's absolutely no doubt that the NDP is going to win this next election convincingly. And so, I say to you, the people of West St. George, you want a representative in cabinet. You want Kashaka Cupid in cabinet. And so let us all stand firmly and strongly with Brother Kashaka Cupid in the next general elections. West St. George, it's a pleasure being with you as usual. God bless. Good night.
Let me tell you something. I don't like how Labour moving. Every time they have all the meeting. Pull them alone. While things in the country.
Yep. Play the tune, play the tune. What we going to do? What we going to do? Time to run them, time to run them. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right. Look, somebody this calling you. Look, somebody they calling you. Run quick, run quick. Run quick. You see the person that stand up there, so. All right. Folks, I didn't mention earlier also we have here with us tonight from East Kingston, the Honorable Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble is also here tonight to give his full endorsement to Kashaka Cupid. And of course, you also saw the president and leader of the New Democratic Party, Dr. the Honorable Godwin Friday, the next Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So what I want to do at this time, I want to invite the Honorable Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, Mike's side, to come and give you some greetings and of course give some full support for your candidate Kashaka Cupid in the upcoming general election. So please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome the Honorable Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble.
All right, Colin. Thank you, thank you. Boom, boom. Upper Cane Hall. Good night, good night, good night. I am so excited to be here tonight. You know, I was home, I said, boy, let me wait until I hear the live start before I come out. But I couldn't wait no longer, so I came out. Listen, I was just talking to a couple of fellas up there about West and the uniqueness of West St. George as far as the New Democratic Party is concerned. Since 2001, the New Democratic Party has not fielded the same candidate in any elections twice in West St. George. Every election we have a different candidate. But this election, Shaka going to change that. Because after this election, when he win in 2030, he coming back to be re-elected. And I am telling you, let me tell you something. Shaka is a young man. When Shaka was thinking about putting up himself as a candidate, because me and Shaka go way back, you know, we know each other quite well. I ain't gonna tell all you some of the connections, Shaka. I gonna keep the secret. But nothing bad, nothing bad. But listen to me, he come up, he say, boy, Fitz, I putting up myself for West St. George, you know. And if all you know Shaka, and he started to talk and he touching me up, he say, Fitz, I could win this thing, you know, Jed. I could win this thing. Just like how I telling you, Shaka said, I could win this thing. And more, as the time goes by and as the elections draw closer and as the issues become more prominent and as we start to discuss and dig deep into the issues which are affecting our country, we realize the significance of having a man like Shaka on our team. Shaka is currently the Assistant Controller of Inland Revenue Department. Now, the Inland Revenue Department is responsible for making sure that our government revenues are not only collected, but are properly monitored and are properly spent, in other words. And we know that over the years, this current government have not been proper stewards of our revenues. They can't even collect taxes where they're supposed to collect. So I am saying to you, with a man like Shaka on our team who understands the real importance of revenue and how that drives our economy, it shows you the value of Shaka in our team. Right now in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, cost of living, the economy generally is our biggest challenge. People catching the nenen. And I talking about people who are considered as upper class, upper income people, catching the tail to live in St. Vincent. And there are myriad of factors why that is so. One of them has to do with the fact that we are not generating enough economic activities to put money in people's pocket. Another problem has to do with the high prices in the supermarkets and elsewhere. How do you cushion that? How do you help our people to deal with that? Those are some of the challenges that we have to meet. And our team, headed by Dr. Friday, and with Shaka as a part of our team, will make sure that we effectively address those issues. So I am very, very happy to have a man like Shaka in this team as my teammate. I pledged to Shaka when he was selected. I say, Shaka, West St. George and East Kingston are neighboring constituencies. And I pledge to you that I am going to give you all of my energy. All. Now, that doesn't mean that I am complacent and I ain't going to spend no energy in East Kingston. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going to give Shaka all of my energy for help him here, and I'm going to use the rest in East Kingston. So, Shaka, have no fear, my brother. Always remember to read Deuteronomy 31:8. I ain't going to get into it tonight. Read Deuteronomy 31:8. And remember, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Because you have a man like, we have the entire team. But when you have a neighbor like East Kingston and yours truly to support you, you know you're going to play. So, come on, brothers and sisters of Boom Boom and West St. George, I am kindly asking you to make sure you go out and support Shaka. Don't sit down and say, well, the other man, they can't beat Shaka, no, because we not even see. Watch the condition of the roads. Watch this. Yes, we know all of that. But if we do not register and go out and vote on election day, nothing ain't happening. So make sure you put your support behind Shaka. And I am guaranteeing you that when we form government and with Shaka as an integral part of our cabinet, you will all be proud of him. Thank you. Good night.
Is enough. The people say
Boy!
they gone now. You want to hear it again? Enough is enough.
Thank you very much, Spitz.
They gone now.
Dr. Friday is down in the crowd, right? And as I get ready to bring up the next speaker, there's something that Fitz said and something that Dr. Shallow said that I want you all to pay notice of. And Dr. Friday, I commend you for putting together what I want to call a dream team to contest the general elections in this country. Because this is a remarkable team of young, brilliant men and women who have come forward to represent you in their various constituencies and are showing that the NDP continues to attract good leaders, good leadership going forward, good men and good women of good character to lead this country forward, and that is just what we need. Dr. Godwin Friday and the rest of the NDP team, the dream team in this upcoming general elections, go to the polls and make sure you vote them in solidly, of course, with your X next to the key. Shaka, it is my pleasure and my honor being here tonight. Well, you know I'm a East St. George boy. But I living in West now. So I torn between the East and the West. But for some time now, I have given you my pledge that I would be here and I would be in the constituency to work with both you and Miss Velox, because we have to make sure that we bring home the Georges this general elections. And when I tell you, between Lavon Gibson Velox in East St. George and Kashaka Cupid in West St. George, it can be done and it will be done in this upcoming general elections, with each and every single one of you going to the polls and voting for the New Democratic Party. Please welcome our next speaker here tonight on the platform. He's the Vice President of the New Democratic Party. He is also here tonight to give his full endorsement for your candidate, Kashaka Cupid. Ladies and gentlemen, boom boom, up again, all please welcome the Major, the Honorable St. Clair Lee Corker.
Solid as a rock. Solid as a rock. Solid as a rock. My love, it's as solid as a rock. I can't stop. If you're asking me, will my love ever be? Well, you know I tell you truthfully. It has got no age, no beginning, no end. Won't slip or slide, no break, no bend. Oh, let me tell you now,
My love,
it's as
solid as a rock,
solid as a rock. Solid as a rock. Oh, honey, my love, it's as
solid as a rock. I can stop. Aha. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. I'm not saying boom boom tonight, I'm saying Upper Cane Hall. Well, I can't count how many times I've been here at a public meeting. But one more time, yours truly is here. You saw, before I got off to my short presentation, I got a good greeting from my worker, Franklin Edwards. Now, I hope she don't mind, because Franklin is working for me now for about 35 years. And she hasn't voted for me one time yet. but, the MC, Morris answered this one for sure. So, Morris, hey, witness, I'm holding you to that. This time, for sure. Thanks in advance, Janet. It's going to be my pleasure. President Friday, somewhere in the crowd, colleagues, Bramble Fitz. I don't think any other parliamentary league are here tonight, but the executive members present, SG, Treasurer. Who else is here? A number of them. I call them already paper. You know the difference between Secretary General and General Secretary. But always present, whether the major is there or not, are my people of Central Kingstown. As per usual, Ingrid and company, they put their hands in their pocket, they organize a van, and they come out to support to ensure that their party, the New Democratic Party, does well and perform well. Thank you again, Central Kingstown. Thanks for your support. Well, we all know why I'm here tonight. And that is to support one of our new candidates, Shaka Cupid. And I hope in the process of my presentation tonight, I capture that. But for convenience only, I want to go back in tonight's presentation to one that I made about 5 years ago in this Western George Shaka. And I made it in Poliad. And I don't know if you're going there this time around for any public meeting. It's one of the most emotional presentations I've ever made in politics. That Poliad presentation, and Sister K did say that, and I felt so myself. But one of the things I remember in that presentation is that a young lady came to me in the course of the night. She was 13, 14 years of age. And she didn't even call me by name, but recognized me by number and said to me, "Sir, you wouldn't believe it. I'm just around 14 years old,
And everything bad that can happen to a person in life has already happened to me. I want to repeat that statement. A young lady at 14 saying to me that everything bad that can happen to a person in life has already happened to them. Tonight, I wouldn't go over the significance, the history, the social circumstances of a person born and or growing up in an area that we call a yard, because that one is pole yard. The other yards, I myself was born in a yard up street in Kingston. What I can tell you, that if you're born in a location that is referred to as a yard, it acknowledges and recognizes the tremendous challenges in life that you would have to face to get head above water. In fact, at that time, Kish, the opportunities were narrow. You either became a Stevido, as they call it in those days, a skibido, or you went to prison. Very limited. I always give thanks to my parents for getting me out of that circumstances as we moved not long from then to an area called New Montrose. Now, where's Major going with this story? And Shaka and Western George. Tonight, those of you who are hearing me, those of you who are here present, those of you who are on any of the platforms, and those of you who are in Radio Land, I want to say this to you. You would hear our party, and the president is particularly good about it, speak about of what we refer to as our pillars of development. And we highlight the importance of agriculture. We highlight the importance of tourism. We highlight the importance of fisheries, the marine economy, or people say the new and the blue. And we speak about the new economy or the youth economy, as our young president Esteban will speak about, which is being championed now on the platforms by Dr. Kishore Shallow. I highlight them because when you are a seasoned politician like myself, when as up to this evening, we were doing our community walk in a particular location in the city, you come face to face with life and living experiences that may on the surface appear remotely connected to that four-pillar conversation. Because, in essence, our supporters, our voters are saying and or asking how that affects me. So I may even bluntly say to you, it has nothing to do with me. They are preoccupied, President Friday, Kishore, Fitz, and Shaka, and company, with the here and now. In essence, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, there is a very significant portion of our people, we call them voters, who would go to the polls shortly and would make a decision to select a representative, a political party, because they don't choose the prime minister. That is chosen from among the candidates who are successful by the candidates themselves, but they feel that they chose the prime minister. It's indirect exercise. They will make that decision of who best captures and reflects their interests. Now, to strengthen the point that I want to make in this conversation, Shaka, that should guide you in your campaign, and colleagues, for what it is worth, I have come across, and I saw this up to yesterday, again in another location in my own constituency, I have come across a fairly large number of young people for whom politics is neither here nor there. In fact, left to themselves, a number of them would not go to the polls. Are you with me? They are standing out of the election exercise. Well, voter and human behavior, Esteban, young people's response is not artificial. It is not an abstraction. And when they are taking that posture silently or loudly, I suggest to you that in most situations and circumstances, President Friday, they are influenced by the material experiences in their own home, in their own family, of mother and father, and more often mother, and of siblings, brothers and sisters experience, and neighborly experience. And whether we like it or not, we have to come to grips as politicians, as candidates, and soon to be representatives. There are a number of people who are not amused in the least by their circumstances. The truth be told, when we come on a political platform and we give generalized presentations, oftentimes we miss the target of reaching the people whose lives we want to touch and change. Transform is the word these days. But those people are sending us as politicians a message. I am not satisfied with what my country has done or is doing for me. That statement, often ignored or left to itself, is what subsequently manifests itself, Kishore, as societal problems. You hear me? Some battle it through. Some find a way to escape to distant lands. Some may get consumed into religion, others into sports and culture, but oftentimes many into deviant behavior. But side by side with all of that is a persistent malaise in our societies that many of our people have given up of ever becoming part of the development of our societies. What that translates to mean is that our country is underproducing and therefore experiencing significant stress in developing our country in a way that is consistent with the policy framework that we highlight. So, if the seemingly long and not sexy conversation that I'm presenting to you here tonight has any meaning, it says to me that when you are coming forward as a candidate, a representative, and hopefully ambition to be a minister of government, you have to begin with yourself and ask searching questions. It may well be, where are we now as a people? Where are we now as a country? Where am I as a politician insofar as I am able to make a difference in the lives of the people whose vote I am asking for? Serious questions. And if we don't ask it and answer it honestly, then we end up spinning top in mud. In a vicious spiral, we are going around in circles. A classic case in point is where we are today in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. If I was searching for a political headline, I may borrow the lyrics of a popular song and artist. We have lost 24 years of valuable time. 24 wasted years. Thanks for the help, my brother. 24 wasted years. So, challenge Major. Ask Major how you can come to that conclusion of 24 wasted years. And how is the choice in West Kingston between the incumbent and Shaka a relevant consideration? If you listen to your news of this week, you would hear barefacedly and unashamedly that last week or the week before, the Deputy Prime Minister said we could not repair our schools. And why? We did not get a loan from Saudi Arabia for $4 million. A week after, the evidence manifests itself. We send the children back home because they are in a woodlice-infested school presided over by the current Minister of Education. Are you traveling with Major? But that is bad enough. This is an independent country that after 46 years, 46 years of independence, says to a nation, we cannot take care of you because we cannot maintain your schools. As I've said elsewhere, we now have grammar school children graduating without having going to grammar school. High school children graduating without going to high school. School children competing with lice and ticks and dog bite on a tarmac built for transforming for landing planes. That's your St. Vincent. But Major always comes to the point. I always come to the point. The insult, the injury is when a privileged Minister of Finance, and you listen here in Kane Hall, not calling you boom boom. When you hear in Kane Hall, listen to a Minister of Finance say to us, aha, we have come upon a solution. We will be launching shortly, Luan, a 1.3 billion with a B dollars hotel complex to create 2,000 jobs for Vincentians. Think about it. Ponder upon it. This is a government that 24 years ago, Kishore, said they had nothing to do with the capitalist citadels of the world. They did not believe in a vibrant private sector. They argued for state control. They would rid the country of the Veras, the Graves, the Boddies, the Randys, they didn't call by name, but by extension it will reach them. And they would replace all of that by state enterprise. The consequences that this country of ours has seen the worst level of economic and social decline in its economic and political history. And for that, we have to thank Ralph Gonsalves, supported by people the likes of a Curtis King, who could not be smart enough to realize that he was not following effective and efficient leadership that would improve the constituency he wants to represent. Are you at Major? Are you at Major? So, in Kane Hall, your choice of a candidate, your choice of a political party is directly related to the kinds of future your St. Vincent and the Grenadines would have. There's not one of you here, none, whose life is better today because of our sandals. None of you. There's not one of you who is better off here today because we have an Argyle International Airport for $1 billion. Not that they're not important. Not that not important. But look at how they want to send you, the voters. Send the fool a little further. And Dr. Friday, speaking directly to you, I haven't done this before. Colleagues, I'm speaking to you. It don't sit square with me. I'm getting the signal to wrap up. It doesn't sit square with me that in our development process that we are contemplating that will build this hotel, that hotel, and the other development, and will take all of the leeward coast. And one day, our people would not be able to have the same beach to go for the goat cook, the recreation, and the exercise. In the meanwhile, we exchange for 2,000 jobs. Not just that lack of custodial benefit and privilege, but we find ourselves in which we are supporting an economic construct. An economic construct in which our people remain on the margins of economic development, while the rich who have get richer and richer and richer, and your circumstances remain most abject. Shaka, Shaka, I'm endorsing you. I'm supporting you. But I'm also in the process of giving guidance and support to the new and emerging leadership of the New Democratic Party. But I'm doing so and giving it to you with very heavy and strong social conscience and responsibility. I don't want 10 years from now to go and visit a home in which you can't separate the sponge on the mattress from the spring in the mattress. I don't want to have to go to homes in St. Vincent and the Grenadines where when I get back to my own, I have to wrestle with my own conscience because the environment that I just left is absolutely not suitable for human living. I don't want, and I pray God to be alive, that I go to homes and mothers have to be looking at daughters and hoping that they get big fast, that bacon comes to that home. I don't want to be in politics and to be understanding that there are societies and individuals who are telling me, Major, last night I slept here and with that rain setting up, I will sleep there. I don't want to have to go to homes where people do not know where the next meal is coming from. I don't want to have to be in communities in which when you're at the shop, the young lady comes and she buys one pamper to see her through the night to the next day. And the next purchaser buys a candle. And the next buys a big Coke. And we go on and on and on with the quality of life that is not worth living, while there's another half on the yachts, the big life, the good life, but who come to political platforms to appease you that once you are contented to stay where you are, it's all right. Kishore, I was in Rose Hall yesterday or the day before. In my business travels, Kenya's here. At one of the home, they were just throwing off lumber materials. The gentleman said, me ask nobody for lumber, you know. Where this from? They say, take it. It's good for you. Today, if you are in Kingston and you pass the national lottery, long lines. Because we are so piss poor in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that you could be abandoned for 24 years or for 5 years and $300, $400 would be enough to keep an iniquitous government in office in perpetuity and to see the successful transfer from father to son and who else is to come. The decisions, my brothers, the decisions, my sisters, the decisions, my colleagues, is that politics and representation requires the most serious of challenges of character and fortitude and being our brother's keeper. In the New Democratic Party, Shaka, you have good examples. You have rich examples. You have watched Dr. Friday spend 24 wilderness years sacrificing everything that he's had for a better St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Yes, yes, we search ourselves up. I don't want to call his name very much because I'm going to have time and occasion. And God don't have pajamas. Franklin, you know that. You know that, Franklin. I survive in St. Vincent and the Grenadines because I have put my hands together to make a life for myself. But I do nothing or can do nothing with taxpayers' money because I can't get government's business. So I live by the private sector. And I live that way because 24 years ago, you gave me 2 hours to clear out of Vinlec. And you have the gall today to come in talking about Major twitching and ditching. Ralph, let me tell you this. Kishore called you Mr. Grumbler. You have not yet done and never will be able to do for St. Vincent what I have done in the time that God gave me on this earth in the St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Not one of you. None of you. Because I have given it my best and from my heart. And so even now, as an elder statesman in political life, my concern is that those of us who are presenting ourselves to be a part of the solution understand that has not been able to be called Mr. Minister. It's not been able to be in the 5-star hotels of the world, or in the finest dining rooms, or the best and latest style jackets and tie and clothing. It is about the privilege to be able to stretch our hands out and hold the hand of a neighbor, a boy, a girl, one from the yard, and with one step back, give that gentle pull and say, I have saved this one to a better life. Good night. Thank you. God bless you as I support you, Shaka, in your upcoming election.
Ndp we sending them home. Come back going home.
As always, powerful and stern. The message from the Vice President of the New Democratic Party.
We sending them home.
What we doing?
We sending them home.
This is the year.
We sending them
This is the year.
home. Every day. Walking go away.
All right.
One day. Party every
All right. Folks, you are here tonight because you stand solidly behind the New Democratic Party. You are here tonight because you stand solidly behind the candidate for the New Democratic Party in the constituency of West St. George, Keshaka Cupid. You stand here tonight because you want to send a message to your neighbor, to your friends, to your family, and to everybody in the constituency that on election day, you are going to the polls to vote for your candidate, Keshaka Cupid. I am honored to be here tonight. It's the first time on a platform in West St. George. I think it's not what's supposed to be here for you, Shaka, but I'm here for you tonight. And it is my honor, it is my pleasure to welcome to you tonight to take the microphone from me, your candidate, your future minister. Please welcome Keshaka Cupid.
Better days are coming, my people. We are changing ways and we're changing lives. Now, before I get into my presentation, I am in awe of the stolen contributions and the endorsements. I mean, they say my head is not very small, but boy, when your head could swell a little bit wider. The glowing endorsements from my brother, Dr. Kishore Shallow, Sister Rania Balcom, my good brother, the Honorable Fitzgerald Bramble, and the ever fluid, eloquent, long-standing, long-serving Major Sinclair Leacock. Now, yesterday, I had a conversation with our chairman, and the conversation alluded to how much respect I have for the elders of the party, and it's no coincidence that Major would have mentioned it this evening too. Being in opposition for over 25 years, it's a major challenge. And it's a privilege for me to be part of this unified party and this team in which Dr. Friday has put together, which will transform St. Vincent and the Grenadines and take us forward for the next 5 years and beyond. I am excited about this journey, and I am looking forward to the challenges that lie ahead. Now, what Dr. Kishore mentioned, he mentioned about the cricketing aspect and the sporting aspect of me as well too, and he probably didn't get into how highly competitive I am as an individual. And one thing about me is not just about winning, it's about winning convincingly. And hard work from my tenure in grammar school, I have always been one to promote hard work. I was taught that from a very early age. And from that experience, I would transfer it into active politics now. So don't be afraid. You have a hard work on the podium here tonight. Now, before I go into my formal presentation, let me ask everyone to stand for a moment. Silence. We had an unfortunate incident at the Daphne playing field a couple of days ago for Mr. Venal Collins, who passed away. So let us just take a moment to acknowledge and show him some level of respect this evening. Just a moment. All right, thank you. Our esteemed leader, Dr. Godwin Friday, Honorable Sinclair Major Leacock, Vice President, Dr. Kishore Shallow, Honorable Fitzgerald Bramble, Miss Sister Rania Balcom, and all other executive members of the New Democratic Party. Well-wishers, friends, colleagues, good night to Boom Boom. Good night to West St. George. Good night, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and good night to those viewing in the diaspora. Now my presentation is going to focus entirely on this particular area of the constituency. Now, for far too long, we have been the forgotten constituency. This is West St. George. Last year's budget, the Minister of Finance would have proclaimed that's an East St. George budget. So it makes you wonder and say, what happened to West St. George? Okay? West St. George has been placed on the very backbone, on the rear end. Our communities have been left to struggle with inadequate resources, crumbling infrastructure, and most of all, broken promises and poor representation. Now this evening I stand before you, not just as a candidate, but someone who has walked these streets as you have. Someone who has similar experiences as you have. Someone who has faced the struggles, not because I'm standing here tonight. I have faced struggles in my life. But one thing, perseverance and the will to overcome permeates through my well-being. Now, I have a concrete plan to transform West St. George. Last week, at my meeting in Daphne, I launched a 7-point plan that will change the dynamics of West St. George. This evening, I'm going to focus on a 4-point plan. So the first point I'm going to mention, so we got to empower our communities through grassroots organization. But before I get into that, let me just give you a short story. I met Sarah Thompson, a single mother of 3, who lives on Upper Cane Hall Road. So during the hurricane season, last year, she and her neighbors experienced burial. They had to organize themselves sharing generators, checking on elderly residents as well, and coordinating relief efforts because the current administration emergency response was barely reached their community. So we've learned we can only depend on each other, she said. But imagine what we could do if we work together. Imagine what we could accomplish. So this is why my first priority is to develop a robust community group and organizations throughout Upper Cane Hall and the entire constituency of West St. George. So the first group gonna include with Cane Hall residents, Dorsetshire Hill, Queens Drive, and Main. So that group would name Quadcom. We will also expand the Belfongo structure, which comprises of Belair, Fountain, and Gome. So this would be expanded not just a sports and cultural club, but into a formal organization and structure. We would revive a Vesco, which will cater to residents in Annisvale and Villa, and Fountain Villa Road. We would also revitalize ASCO, which will cater to the residents of Ashburton, who I hold dear to my heart too. And the final community-based organization would be in the location of Fairbairn and Belmont. And this would name FAB, comprising of those 2 particular areas. So we will establish neighborhood councils with real authority and structures, and also budgets. We will create a resident-led community for local and development projects. I know Major would like this particular topic that I'm on. So examples of projects would include the development of the Cart Road, just down the hill down there. Persons in Bum Bum have been begging for years for that, and they have been promised under this current administration that they will get it done. But they have failed the people of this area. And I can assure you, under my leadership, I will get it done. And under Dr. Friday's leadership, we will get it done, and Team NDP. So there would be walkways to do, other projects in the area, and all these would be under the community-based development project organization. So no more you're running to Mr. This and Mr. That and heading up the steps at the financial complex for support. We are no longer begging. You would have an independent community-based organization. I myself won't even have influence on it. Okay, so that is the route in which you would be heading. So these organizations will be funded and registered with CIPO. So there would be a proper and legitimate structure in place, as I mentioned. So funding for the community projects would be channeled through these groups. And we will ensure every major decision that are affected includes genuine community input. So there would be consultations. For example, if we have a project to do in this community, there would be a town hall meeting where I would engage the constituents. I would not just come and force a project down your throat. I do not operate like that. I would engage the constituents to ensure that I represent you adequately. So let me tell you what is going to happen. There would be accountability. There will be transparency under my leadership and the New Democratic Party led by Dr. Friday. However, here is the beauty about this. As a result of the structure in place, which I just spoke about, we will create employment for our people, especially our young people in our communities. Currently, the unemployment rate among our youth stands at 40%, which is extremely high for our country. So 8 persons between the ages of 15. These are who we consider young people. And basically we're saying 4 out of 10 young people, they are unemployed. And that is unacceptable. Under my leadership, I am not settling for any mediocrity. So the ruling party talks about community engagement. But where is it in Boom Boom? Where is the community engagement? Now look at this Learning Resource Center in which we're hosting this meeting. Since the passage of Hurricane Beryl, there are 10 persons still living in the Learning Resource Center. This is unacceptable for a party who claims they love the poor and are champions for housing. Now, this is not the time for housing, but I will get into it a little bit later. So under my leadership, the Learning Resource Center will support academic learning, where children will access the learning materials. As your next representative, I would ensure that there are after-school programs for persons in this community, for all ages. No age would be left behind. The center will be equipped with computers and support and digital literacy and for training. There will also be a place for design and projects, which will fall under our new economy, but I'll get into that a little bit later. And we would also have adult education programs. We will develop skills training as well, which is important for our people. So we have an opportunity to create some level of independence for ourselves here. We no longer would be dependent on the government to provide every single thing, especially employment for us. So this is what the New Democratic Party is all about. We will empower our people, and by doing so, we are going to prioritize skills training. So number 2, we are going to unleash the potential of our youth and entrepreneurs. Now let me tell you this story about a 23-year-old Marcus Williams who I met about 2 weeks ago from Fountain. He graduated with a degree in information technology about 2 years ago. Today he's working at a gas station. So imagine a highly qualified individual who has to stoop, I won't say necessarily stoop to the level, but he has to resort to the level of a gas station attendant because there are no opportunities for him. The next step that he's thinking about, is migrating. So our talented people are leaving our shows for supposedly greener pastures. And under our government, NDP, we will ensure opportunities, as I said before, are provided for our young people. So, further to Marcus, he believes in he has digital ideas for create digital services. And he has developed a digital cooperative in his mind that could serve the entire region. But it sits in a drawer, unfunded and unsupported by this government. There's also Jennifer Batiste of Fairbairn Pasture, who runs a small catering business from her kitchen. She dreams of opening a restaurant, but she applied several times for small government grants, only to watch the funding be given to well-connected applicants from the ruling administration. So you see what these guys are all about? If you're not affiliated to them or you're not connected to them, you cannot prosper in this country. We are saying in our party, this will not happen under Dr. Friday's leadership. Every single individual in this country would have an equal opportunity. There will be no more favoritism. So my people of Bumbum and West St. George, these stories multiply across our community. Our young people are our greatest resource. And to the manner in which they are being treated, They're being treated as afterthoughts. There are no job creation programs under this government. They only focus on their supporters. But I'm here to tell you again, under our leadership, we are going to adopt a system where persons are promoted and they advance based on merit. You know about the meritocracy system. So they will be promoted as a result of their excellence and their hard work. And this is something that would permeate throughout the public service. So we are going to change the dynamics that is currently occurring in the public service, where persons are promoted because they align and they are affiliated to a particular party. I am telling you here publicly this evening, this will stop under a new Democratic Party government led by Dr. Godwin Friday. We will stop the nepotism that is currently occurring and permeating throughout the public service. We will establish the West St. George Youth Enterprise Hub. So with the focus on my leadership is on the youths. A one-stop center providing business mentorship, which gives access to microfinance and co-working spaces for young entrepreneurs. So we will also create apprenticeships programs linking our youth with local businesses. We will ensure that every major government contract includes a requirement to hire locals and youth employment. Let me give you a prime example. In West St. George, there are a number of projects currently in process, right? If you look at it, one contractor has been given that all the contracts within the constituency. Under my leadership, the contracts would be divided and tender out, and the results, the persons who would be awarded the contract, they would be given because of their merit. They would be interviewed, the contracts would be highly evaluated, and they would be given awarded the contract based on merit. That will not happen. What is currently happening, that will not occur under our administration. So now we are watching the brightest and young minds, as I said, leave for opportunities elsewhere. But we will partner with the private sector and attract investments, and we will create those opportunities for our people right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Number 3, we will rebuild our community spirit through sports and the arts. Now, Dr. Kishore Shallow would have shared with you my passion for cricket at an early age. As he mentioned, I had visions of becoming the next Brian Lara, but that didn't hold true. I had different priorities along with our maker. He had a different calling for me. That is why I'm standing here today. So several months ago, I drove past the Madame Louis playing field in Belair. And what did I see? A picture of what years of neglect look like. A pasture filled with grass about 3 to 4 feet tall. The grass was so high, villagers tied their animals on it. It was no more a playing field, it was a pasture at that time. This was a playing field where a number of talented sportsmen and women, especially from this area, harnessed their talents. The playing field was in such a deplorable condition that concerned persons in the community saw it fit to come together to improve the conditions of the playing field. So first, the Belfongo Community Group, which was inactive, this was revitalized. Second, donations were solicited from both local and persons in the diaspora. So members of the support and of the community upgraded the playing field. So within a few months, the entire playing field was transformed. And this was a result of the revival of the community-based organization. So this is one of the most glaring cases of neglect by the current representative and his administration when it comes to sports. All of a sudden, they are championing sports, but our people know better. But we see in our party, we see the potential that sports has for our people. Now I tell you something. These people are 25 years behind when it comes to sports. There are no sporting facilities for the people of Boom Boom. I know you've been promised it time and time again. And to make matters worse, this current administration, as I said, year go, year come, every election cycle, promises, but they have failed to deliver. So let me ask you something. Based on their promises, where they going to put the facility in Boom Boom? Where? Where are they going to put it? So my people, the time has come for you to rise up. Stop being exploited by this government who only tries to treat you well once every 5 years. Enough is enough, my people. And this stops right now here. So under the New Democratic Party, sports will be a priority and a necessity for our people, not an accessory under this current administration. So we plan to upgrade all sporting facilities in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and that includes lighting these facilities. Now on the topic of lights, the people of Daphne and surrounding areas have been promised lights, that particular playing field would be lighted since 19 how long? Recently, the current representative pledged that he delivers. He pledged that the facility would be lighted when I had my opening on May the 5th. At the end of the cricket, when the cricket opened, at the end of the cricket, that facility has not been lighted. And they're playing football there again, and still no lights. How could this man say he delivers? Really and truly. So my people, the time for playing us as fools ends now, as I said. West St. George has a number of young, talented artists who need an opportunity and an avenue to express themselves. Recently, I had a conversation with a local artist and cultural organizer, Maria Charles, who shared her frustration. She said, we have incredible talent in this community. Musicians, dancers, visual artists, but nowhere to showcase their work. Now, during Dr. Shallow's meeting last night in Fitzhughes, I heard the local artist, Little Chrissy, who came on stage and expressed herself and her talent. I had a brief conversation with her, and she aspires to be a successful lawyer one day. Now, under this current dispensation and this current administration, Chrissy's dreams would blow up in smoke because there are limited opportunities for her. So, Chrissy, let me encourage you. There is hope on the way in the New Democratic Party. So, here in West St. George, we have no home to express ourselves culturally. So we would change that. We would create training for our creatives right here in West St. George. And we will build a community arts center which would house performances, spaces, recording studios, and galleries. And we will establish an annual festival celebrating our local culture and providing platforms for our artists. So my people, sports and arts aren't luxuries. They're essential for building strong and proud communities. The current administration's neglect of these areas show little how they understand our needs. Number 4, ensuring every family has a home they can afford. Perhaps nothing illustrates the current administration's failures more clearly than the housing crisis in Poliard. Now, Major mentioned that he had an experience last election when he went to visited the Poliard for a meeting. I had the privilege of being there on a number of occasions. And the conditions in which they live, it pains my heart to see the type of neglect and disregard for human life. So under my leadership, these persons in Poliard would not face any exploitation anymore. They have been taken on a roller coaster. This current administration has made grand promises to them. Promises of relocation and modern housing, to say the least. Even in 2019, the residents were denied electricity with promises of imminent relocation. Now last year, the current MP claimed land was identified, but provided no details. This is what I call political abuse and exploitation. These people have to endure time and time again. I walk through this community and witness the truth that no political rhetoric can hide. Families living in substandard housing. Elderly residents struggling without basic services, which should be guaranteed to every citizen. For 25 years, we have seen this same playbook play over and over. Election season arrives, and suddenly there are materials to distribute. Major would have mentioned materials being distributed in Rose Hall recently. Corrugated sheets, cement, lumber, steel, but only for those who pledge their loyalty to this current administration. This will come every election. So the 500 in the t-shirt, and they hold us at ransom for the next 5 years. So let me give you a financial breakdown. I'm a good brother, give his own breakdown last night in Fitzhughes. So the 500 equates to $100 annually. $8.33 monthly. $2.08 weekly. And 29 cents per day. Now let me suck it up a little bit. These guys are saying, hey, you're worth 29 cents per day. So that is like a shilling. That is 25 cents basically. What that could buy in today's economy, which is so high with inflation. So my people, this is the harsh reality we face. And the rest of us are expected to wait and hope and believe that this time will be different. Now let me tell you something. This is not governance, as I said before, you know. This is political manipulation. And it needs to stop. So my people of Boom Boom, after the votes are counted, the promises will evaporate again. I could assure you of that. Like the morning mist, the materials will also dry up. The attention moves elsewhere. And we are left with the same broken infrastructure as I mentioned in my opening. The same inadequate housing. And the same empty assurances. What has this pattern cost us? Let me tell you. Lost opportunities while we lack basic infrastructure and investment in and development that could pass, that which have passed us by. There's also a health consequence. Poor housing, lack of clean water create conditions for disease and suffering. Economic stagnation. Businesses cannot thrive where businesses lack services and are unreliable. Unfortunately, we have paid the price of political games time and time again with our quality of life, our health, and the future. Now, let me tell you what the definition of insanity is. Doing the same thing repeatedly over and expect the same result. We are not a people who are insane. So now is the time for us to correct that. We are going to vote out this administration. We cannot continue to trade our votes for temporary handouts while permanent solutions in which the New Democratic Party is providing and affording to us remain out of reach. Now, this is what real change requires. Sustainable infrastructure. Not emergency repairs during the campaign season, but long-term planning for reliable housing and development. Transparent governance where resources are allocated based on need, not political affiliation. Every citizen deserves equal access to the basic services, food, clothing, shelter, and housing. So there would also be accountability. Leaders who answer to the people year go year round, not just during the election campaign. There would also be community participation, where our voices heard in the planning process. Your voices will be heard, my people. So our needs will be reflected in the budget. So my people of Bum Bum, West St. George and St. Vincent the Grenadines, the power to change this cycle lies in your hands and at your fingertips. We are not victims of circumstance. We are citizens with the right to demand better. This election, let us think beyond the immediate gratification. When we get the lumber, it all go well and good. When they get the $500, it all good. The initial taste of it. Let us look beyond that, the immediate gratification of the materials. But let us ask ourselves the hard question. How will we break the cycle of political favoritism in resource distribution? Now, this is my vision for West St. George. Every family living in decent and safe housing with electrical power to their homes, clean water flowing from every tap, infrastructure that attracts investments and creates opportunities, governance that serves all citizens equally. Every family in West St. George deserves a safe, affordable home. This is not a privilege, but this is a right. And this is not an impossible dream. This is what effective leadership can deliver, my friends. The current representative and his administration, they have had their chance. Their time is up. They have shown us through the years and through their actions. Remember they say actions speak louder than words, eh? But in this current rep, with this current rep, his action complement his words, so be careful. So not with the people they were elected to serve, eh? They neglect the people they were elected to serve. So they talk about, let me get this, they talk about labor love. But do they actually demonstrate that love? So before I end, let me tell you something about what love is. And this is a definition from my humble pastor, Dr. Walford Thompson. Now he says, love is the unselfish, remember that word, unselfish concern of the affairs of another person. Now, have they demonstrated their unselfish concern for us? Think about it. So let us compare this so-called labor love and which has been demonstrated. Look at this wicked vaccine mandate from this administration. Would you call that love? Singling out persons in various communities for help and assistance because of their party affiliation. Would you consider that love too? Is sidelining persons and threatening them like the baby Gonzales has demonstrated. Is that love? Now let me tell you something. Their love is fake. It is counterfeit. And it is a so-called love. And it's time to transition from the so-called labor love into Cupid cares. And NDP also cares. So my people, we care about the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Friends, When we say Cupid cares and the NDP cares, we mean it from the depths of our souls. We will demonstrate the level of kindness, compassion, and we will rebuild a society and this nation into a caring one. Having said all this, my people of Bumbum and West St. George, we have the power at our fingertips to initiate this change. We have the power to choose leaders, as you saw here tonight, who see our potential instead of overlooking our needs. We have the power to remove the self-serving, egocentric administration from office. We have the power to build a West St. George. We know that is possible. So this election isn't just about choosing a representative. It's about choosing our future. Will we continue to accept neglect and broken promises? Or will we demand the investment and the attention we deserve in our community and our nation? So let us not vote just for a candidate who offers the most materials today, but for a leader who will build the systems that serve us for tomorrow. Together, we will build stronger communities. Together, we'll create opportunities for our young people. Together, we will restore our facilities and celebrate our culture. Together, we'll ensure every family has a place in this country to call home. The time for waiting is over, my people. The time for change is now. Under my leadership, we will build a strong, vibrant community where everyone, and I mean everyone, has the opportunity to succeed. So on election day, we go to the polls in record numbers. We're not sticking this time. We're going to the polls and vote overwhelmingly for Kashaka Cupid, for real representation. We are voting for Kashaka Cupid and the New Democratic Party for real investment. And you're voting for us for real change. Because Cupid genuinely cares for West St. George and the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Good night, my people, and may God bless you. Thank you.
Play the tune, the fugitive. Play the tune for them. It must have been love, but what? But what? Tell them you ain't want that kind of lovely. No, no. Tune for them tonight. Boom, boom. Alright, fugitive. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. You ain't gonna make nobody. We don't want that kind of love from them. After 20-something years, you going to wait till all of a sudden now to come and try and show people that you love them? What happened for the last 25 years? What happened to the last 25 years? It must have been good, but what? Tell them go with that. Tell them we ain't want that kind of man who love them. No, please. No, please. Listen to me. When you go to the polls, a vote for Kashaka Cupid is a vote for the future of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A vote for Kashaka Cupid is a vote to ensure that the next man coming to this stage becomes the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to give you the type of leadership that you deserve, that we all deserve. Make some noise and welcome the next Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Godwin Friday.
All right. All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Yeah, let me follow the protocol. And then by that I mean I say in Upper Cane Hall. And for all my colleagues who came out here this evening to support our brother, Kashaka. Tonight, I listened to a presentation that is rooted in the needs of a community, not just highlighting problems, but presenting workable solutions. Now, this is what you want in a representative. It is obvious to me that Shaka has been in touch with his constituents and that he has crafted plans and solutions to the problems that he sees in his constituency based on the needs of his people. Not just sitting in an office somewhere and making up something and then trying to come to sell it to the people of this beautiful village, this wonderful constituency. And that is the battle for all of the candidates of the New Democratic Party. We go to the people to find out what they want us to represent them about. That is what representative politics is all about. The detail that he has presented, the thought that has gone behind these well-crafted solutions tells me that you have a man in Kashaka Cupid who will transform lives in his constituency and indeed in the entire country. Last night we were up in Fitzhugh and I talked about the urgency of changing the government, not just so that you could have one set of people in and one set of people out. That is just the beginning. The real work starts after we form government. And I am pleased to see that my colleagues have taken that message to heart. And they have started, and some more advanced than others, because people like Leacock and Cummins and myself and Terence, we've been in the vineyard for a long time. We have seen a lot of the troubles that have come and gone, and we've offered solutions in the past. We continue to do so in the future. But Shaka here tonight tells you that here you have somebody who has come to contest elections for the first time, and he ain't taking things as they are. He is not just presenting things that he has seen in the way they have been done in the past. Here you have creativity and you have passion and commitment. My brother, I am so proud to have you as a member of my team. I am so delighted to know that I have a capable, a competent young man who I can say, go out and do your thing for your community. Go out and do what you can to make life better for the people in this constituency. And I know he will not fail you. And this is why, my dear people, when we come to that fateful day, when we must make a decision about not just the next 5 years, when you vote in the next election, remember this. Remember this. You're casting a decision that is going to affect you and your children, not just for the next 5 years. It's going to be for a generation to come. Because the next general election is our next best chance to bring change in this country. We must not let it pass. If we do that, then we are condemning our children and future generations to what we have now that passes for good governance. You have people who are very good at talking. They are very good at propaganda. They can tell you that 7 is more than 10. They can lie sometimes. And they can hold on to power. But they have not used that to make life better for the people. After 25 years, you have communities where the covered roads have got returned to dirt. You have unemployment amongst our young people, the highest it has been. You have crime all across the country, especially violent crime. We have crime against women, and there is not a peep from the government about how they are going to deal with this terrible scourge on our country. You look around you, you see the evidence of decay in various communities. Even in Kingstown, our capital city, you look around you and you see it is as though the place has been abandoned for years. There seems to be little hope amongst the young people, amongst the farmers, because you're having the Minister of Agriculture, somebody who just plays games with the farmers. The fisher folk who have seen this government promise them years and years about things saying that they have $5 million or $10 million you could come and borrow. And when you go borrow, they're asking you to give your firstborn and to give your land and to give blood before you can get loan. That's how hard it is. We have to make things better for ordinary people. It's not everybody could come up with a fancy spreadsheet of income and you have all kind of plans and so forth to satisfy a bank. And then you go and you're getting an interest rate at 10 and 12%. Put you in poverty. We have said that we are going to focus on the ordinary people. Shaka has demonstrated that here tonight in great detail because he's looking out for his community. He is looking around and saying, what can I do to make life better for people? It ain't that complicated, you know. If you're going to serve people, you have to ask yourself, how can I make life better for the people in my constituency, in my country? That is a task that we've set out on. So when you hear me talking, as Leacock said earlier, that we have the 4 pillars of the economy we're going to develop, that we have the 5 priorities that you've told us that you want us to address, it comes down to one thing. It comes down to making life better for people. You can't put bread on your table unless you get work. If you have a job and the job ain't paying you well, then you can't take care of your family properly. So when we talk about improving the economy and building the productive sectors, that is what we're talking about. To enable people to be able to look after themselves. They don't have to come to any politician genuflecting, cup in hand, begging, and then surrendering their dignity and their independence to somebody who should be serving you. When they flip it around and make you want to serve them. We have to change that. Now when I talk about, Shaka said something earlier this evening, which I think it needs a little more emphasis. And my stamp of approval, if you like, on it. You had heard me say, we promised this in the last general election, that as government, when you have contractors who provide service, or business places, individuals who provide service for government, that most of these contracts or most of these services, they are ordinary transactions. Today you have to wait, you never know when you're going to get paid. You do some work for government, when you're putting in a building, you build a bridge and something, You're supposed to get pay. You're carrying overdraft in the bank, and they're paying you when they feel like. Well, I have said this, that we have a commitment that we have given to persons who provide services to the government, that you will be paid within 28 days. In the same way, when your VINLEC bill comes due at the end of the month, your phone bill comes due at the end of the month, your salary, your workers have to get paid at the end of the month, you got to pay rent at the end of the month. Well, how I could pay you in the middle of the month? We have to pay you when your bills come due as well, so that everybody benefits, so that people can reinvest in their businesses, so that they can continue to operate. I will go further than that. We have just down the road here, they're building a hospital. We have no problem with the hospital. We support it in the parliament, even though the loan is expensive. We borrow $125 million from the Export-Import Bank of Taiwan at over 6% interest. That is high. But the hospital that we have now is not serving people. It's killing people. The services that we should expect as citizens of this country, we don't get. So we said, all right, the cost is high, but we need to do it. And they have neglected it for so long that is why we have to pay a little extra for it now. But they're building the hospital, and you go down there and you'll see a lot, if not most of the workers come from overseas. The same thing happened when Sandals built the hotel down at Buckerman. So we have a situation where the jobs are coming to the country, but instead of we giving our people the opportunity to do them, we're bringing the workers in to do the work too. And there's always some excuse, some expedient excuse. Oh, we need to get it done quickly. We need to do this, we need to do that. Or we don't have the training. Well, after 25 years, they can't say that because that is a problem that they have created. So they ain't going to say that. They will want to call people lazy and good for nothing, and they ain't want to work. But that ain't true. The truth of the matter is, we are being squeezed out at every turn in our country. Whether it's in doing business, the fisher folk. You have foreign companies, they're Caribbean, but you're giving concessions for them to compete against our own local people. You have jobs coming in, and you're bringing the workers in to do the jobs. Well, I'll tell you this. We will make a pledge, and I'm making it now to the people of this country, that especially when it comes to government work, the people who get priority are the people here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we will ensure that that is done when you have government contracts. And we will make it so that the private sector companies as well, when they're doing private work, that they must justify. It can't be just a matter of convenience, or that the people are coming to work for less so they could suppress the wages here in the country. We are already the lowest wages in the Caribbean. So why you want to have foreign workers come and compete and push the wages down for our people? Come on. Having a country must mean something. Being a citizen of this country must mean that it looks out for me first. And we're not saying that we're not going to have relations with our Caribbean brothers and sisters. We're part of CARICOM, we're part of the OECS. But beyond those broad frameworks, as a government, I am elected to serve the people of my country, and I will make that be felt in the policies and the actions that I take in government. That is what we have to do. So, they will tell you now, election coming. Last night, somebody put it well. I think it was Adonis Charles when he spoke. He said they're coming around and they're patching all the holes in the road. They're fixing drains. And they're coming, they're going light playing fields now. You know? All kind of thing they're doing. The way he put, he say they're trying to make 50 runs off the last ball. Well, I give them a little bit more. I said the last over. They still can't do it. But they will come and mama guy. You will see they will drop some BRC in the road. They will bring gravel and put it down here. Blocks will come and they will put it down and so forth. They might even dig here and there. But that is all for mama guy. And I'll tell you this. Any government, any politician, quite frankly, who will belittle the intelligence of the people of the country to that level, they deserve to be punished. You can't say you respect the people as citizens of this country and you're treating them as if they're so dumb and stupid. That you could come now, after 25 years of neglect, and come now and tell them that between now and whenever they call elections, that is going to be paved roads, there's going to be milk and honey flowing in the streets of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We know better than that. So, my dear people, we will not fall for it. And when they're building the hospital here, as I said, we support it in the parliament. We continue to support the project. So you don't have to vote for them for that. I will finish it. I tell you that. And I'm going to finish it without any corruption. We're going to finish it efficiently. And we're going to make sure that the people who it is intended to serve are able to have access to it. And we have other plans for healthcare, you know, but you'll hear me talk about them some other time. They're talking about the port in Kingston. Look how we build. Biggest port ever. It's the biggest hole in the port ever too. But I tell you, we supported that in the parliament too. We didn't support them when they come last time and said they want more money. Because we said, you have not demonstrated you have used the money properly. You have not come transparently and tell us what this big hole is doing in the port and how we can have the confidence that you're just not covering it up, papering it over till election, and then afterwards, all hell break loose. So we say we want a tour of the facility. I hear they buy new lock and chain to say keep the NDP out. Well, they will brag about it, say they build a big port. I tell you this, don't vote for them for that, because I will finish it. That is my commitment. I'm not like them. When you had the Otley Hall Marine and Shipyard, which we will complete, because they will provide jobs for our young people, good paying jobs. But when the NDP built that, they leave it down there to rust and ruin, even though it could create jobs for our people. Because it's all about political expedience. When they built NDP built the port in Kingstown, the cruise ship berth, and the hurricane come, I think it was Lieutenant Lenny. There, they wish it would mash up. Now, they're praising, oh, we have so many cruise ship tours coming in. They couldn't come without that. So, I know how hard people in this country work for their money, how heavily that they are taxed, and that the things that they're building, all these big projects they're building, is we have to pay for them. So I have to look out for that. I have to make sure that the people's investment is taken care of, that we make the best use of it possible. And I will do that. But here is the other thing. As I say, election coming, and they will come with all them fix-it plans. But more than that, they will come with goodies. Like Santa Claus, they will come bearing gifts. They will come into your yard. You ain't see them in 4 years. You must ask them, where you been all the time? All the time. Where you been all the time? You're coming now, like Santa Claus, to bring things. But here, this is the other part. Everything that you get from them is not theirs. They will not take a cent out of their pocket to give to you. That is your money. So whenever you get something, make sure you take good care of it, that you use it wisely. It's your money. After the election, if by some, let me not go that part, it ain't gonna happen. No matter what happens, the money that they spend to build, to buy all the lumber and galvanize, another boat coming every week, that they're sharing out is your money. And you will have to pay for it after the election. So use the things you get wisely. Take care of it because it is yours. Well, that's the other thing. That is the other thing. You hear my brother Shaka? He talked about building an economy. He talked about his constituency, but we will scale that up for the entire country. We creating an economy that works for all of us, not just for some of us. Right now, you have a situation in this country where some people are getting fat while they're eating already and they're eating again. And then you have ordinary folk, a lot of people are left out. They can't benefit from the fruits of their labor and of this country because the same people who get already, they're getting again. And they are so shameless about it. They have become so gluttonous and greedy about it that they're taking it for fewer and fewer of them. And the people all throughout the country continue to feel the pressure of this economic crisis that we're in and the cost of living crisis that they're feeling. Cost of living is high. It's high, I know. I do my groceries myself. I go in the stores, people see me shopping, sometimes they're surprised. I say, what, you don't think I just eat? Well, there you go. And the thing is, you go one day and the price is something else. 2 weeks later, it gone up. So we know the situation. And I see the hardship is causing on people. So we're looking for solutions to that. But I'll tell you what we will do. We will reduce the VAT. I told you that. From 16% to 13%. That will put money back in your pocket and give you a chance to buy more with what you have. As public servants, there will be bonuses as well that are paid as they've done in other countries. And we will make life better for people to help them ease the cost of living crisis that they are feeling. We are looking for ways in which to put money back into people's pockets. I said last night that we have to find ways to get young people, especially young professionals. They come out of university, they have a job. The jobs tend to be lower paying, but some of them we want to give them incentives to stay so that it doesn't take 3 generations to own a home, that you could find a piece of land they could build and they could afford to pay a mortgage and still live a decent life. Those are things we have to look for solutions for because our young people are precious to us. They're better educated than ever, but we're losing too many of them to countries within the region because I can't blame them. They're getting paid better and they have debts to pay. We want to bring them back here so that they could help to develop this country of ours, to use that brain power in the service of the development of our country. And in the meantime, also develop themselves and their families. So we will also look for ways to make the civil servants who help us create the conditions for the development of our country, that they also can have more incentives to do their work better and to stay in the service. So we will look at things like the concessions that are given for vehicles, for example. The categories of persons who get those concessions can be widened so that more public servants will benefit. We will look at things like retirement pension at persons who are here in the service and they can't make it 33 and a third years or whatever, to find a way in which perhaps to give a prorated part of the pension so that they can leave and do something else if they choose to do so. These are things that we haven't really properly explored as a country. But we are in the New Democratic Party. We're thinking outside the box. We want to find ways in which we can generate political, economic activity in our country. We want to make ways in which people can feel liberated so they can invest, that they can feel that there's hope in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We don't have that now. That is why I'm here tonight. That is why my colleagues, we go to all corners of this country. And it's not just the public meetings. We do it in what we call them walkabouts. We go in communities. We walk in people's homes. Most of the times people are kind and they are inviting and welcoming. Sometimes you have to be a little bit more persuasive, but that's all right because we are all one people. We are all trying to find the same thing, which is a better life in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We believe we have the plan to do it. We have talked about the 4 pillars of the economy that we will develop. We have talked about the 5 priorities, that is to say, to deal with the joblessness, to create jobs, to create better paying jobs, to have an economy that works for all of us, to have a healthcare system that we can trust. It should not be a situation where you go to the hospital and the doctor is sending you, as the story that my colleague Cummings told last night in Fitzhughes. They're sending the person to go see a private doctor instead of the public system providing assistance to the person. We have to change that. Healthcare should not be just for those who can afford it. Healthcare is a human right, and we must create a system in our country that everybody has access to basic healthcare in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is the vision of the New Democratic Party. And we will get it done. We will get it done. We have plans in progress to do it. When somebody tell you that we can't afford to have a national health insurance service because it's too expensive, they're telling you otherwise, is that when people get sick, then they should die. Because people don't get sick based on how much money they have. They don't get sick because they have health insurance. They get sick because we are all human and our bodies are frail. So if somebody tell you can't afford that, what they are saying is that each man for himself. If you get sick, you can look after yourself, fine. If you can't, then you die. I don't want to consign the people of this country to death and suffering simply because they don't have the means to fly out and go somewhere to let attendance, or they can't go see private doctor. The public system must be able to meet that need. That is the vision that we have for healthcare. So my dear people, we have a lot of work to do. We have been toiling. You know, Leacock talked earlier about some of the sacrifices that we have made, of the hard work that we have put in. You know, to be honest, I don't mind. For me, it's not a matter of what is good for me. I do it because I want to see something better for my country. I feel that I am blessed. I have been given some talents. I have had a good education in this country. I know what St. Vincent and Grenadines is capable of, and I want to be able to empower our citizens to make life better for themselves as well. So we have been traversing the country. We have been doing this for quite some time, some of us. But we will not get tired. We will not in any way be discouraged. We will not lose hope. Our faith, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, is too important and precious to all of us for us to take any other course. We will continue to do the work to bring change to this country. And then when we do so at the next general election, we start the hard work of transforming this country. for all of us. I am looking forward to that task. I have put in place a team that can deliver and will deliver on day one after the election. We have put plans in place that we can deliver to improve life for people in this country. They are practical, they are doable, and they will make life easier, provide more opportunities for the young people. I want to just say one thing, because I heard Shaka talking about it too. There's so much possibility, you know. We have to make them feel that there's limitless possibilities for their own talents. If you don't want to do a certain type of job, you want to do information technology, we create a hub, an incubation or innovation hub that helps those young people to be able to see how far their ideas can go. And I believe that a good idea can come as much from St. Vincent and the Grenadines as from any other country in the world. What it needs is the infrastructure. What we need is the enabling environment to allow that idea to go forward. And we will create that in the New Democratic Party, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And the young people have a lot to look forward. Dr. Shala talk about sports and all of that. We will talk more about them. But again, these are for young people. So my dear people, we have put together the team. We have the plan. The final component of us getting to where we need to go to transform this country is you, the people. Everybody. I don't want to hear people complaining and then say they're not going to do anything about it. What's the point of that? We are dissatisfied with what is happening, so let's do something about it. Don't leave it to the next generation. Young people, don't leave it to your parents and your grandparents. You have more to benefit than they do because you have longer to be here to live in this country. Bring your fears and your doubts, all your disappointments with this present government. Don't blame us for them, but bring them. All your hopes, your dreams, your aspiration for your own life, for your village, your community, for your country, bring them. Let's put them together with all the plans that we in the New Democratic Party have put in place. Give my colleagues the task of putting those things into, bringing them into fruition. They're capable of doing it. Let us together, on the day of election, create an irresistible force in this country that will bring change no matter what they do. No matter what they do. The only way it will happen is if we all do it together. And I urge you to do so. My dear people, thank you for listening. And we will continue with this as we go forward to a brighter and better day for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I see Maurice will come give me...
Welcome to Western George, Dr. Friday. This is our constituency. We are so happy to have you. Come on, give the brother a round of applause, please. The next Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines come next general elections or thereafter. Wait, you probably thought we were going to have a dialogue on stage. No, we're not. You probably thought we were going to have a dialogue on stage. We're not. We're not. Gone now. Thank you very much, Fuji. Ladies and gentlemen, if you really enjoyed that presentation by Dr. Friday, the next Prime Minister of SPG, give him a round of applause, please. Come on. Are you ready for the New Democratic Party to govern St. Vincent and the Grenadines? This can only happen if you register and go out to vote on election day. Please, once you're 18 years and over, please go and get registered so that all of us will be all part of the victory right after the next general elections. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank all our speakers who eloquently presented the New Democratic Party's plans, programs, and activities to be done right after the next general elections. And more than anything else, I want to thank you very much for coming out this evening to be all part of this big activity. And all the persons from, I want to say boom boom first, but let me say Upper Cane Hall first. And then my fellow villagers of this part of West St. George, we want to thank you very much for coming out this evening and be all part of our activity. Put your hands together for yourselves. Come on. I want to thank all you notice when I introduced the gentleman as one of the best MCs in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I thought I was making joke, eh? This man is undoubtedly the best MC in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And when it comes to hosting political events, he has no second. He is Colin Graham. Give him a round of applause, please. Nobody can touch Colin. I mean, after 42 years on this stage, I can't even touch Colin much less. On behalf of the New Democratic Party's West St. George Council, once again, we want to thank you very much for coming out and wish you all the best. DJ Fuji going to give a little music. You done pull them? So no more music, that's it. Two tune. We're going to get 2 tunes so you can party because the ladies them have some drink. The ladies there have some drinks to sell. In the meantime, we ain't going away now. I dey home, plenty of you dey home, so we ain't going away. So on behalf of the council, I want to thank you very much. My name is Maurice and I'm McQuarrie born. I'm gone.